we can't do any less. And so this is a very important principle. I think we need to understand this truth. We need to underscore. I mean, when we're serving in the church, when we don't love the church, all kinds of things will happen. What does it mean to love the church? Well, let me allow me to share with you. And the picture that you have here is actually a picture of marriage. Okay, a picture of marriage. So I'm going to use this morning's meditation, this metaphor of marriage, to show to us. It's not him. I don't think he sent it to me, but the mother-in-law was so proud of him, of his son, and the daughter-in-law, sending some of the photos. So I was trying to get some of the photos. Because I didn't actually want to have pictures of some of you here to pick some of the various images of marriage. But I only have this photo, so I have to use this photograph. Okay? So this morning he's the star. Okay, so I'm going to use this metaphor here of marriage. Okay? And I think the first thing here we need to ask ourselves is this whole question here. Alright? And that is, are we married to the church? Or are we cohabiting? Or cohabiting? Now this is important for us. Because I think a lot of times, to us, if we don't think seriously about this whole thing itself, then church will be just another thing itself in our life. But seriously, when you look at Christ, He gave Himself up for the church. And one of the things here about being married to the church is this whole emphasis of commitment. Commitment. And the way that we express commitment, okay, in a relationship to the church is really through membership. Membership is one of the most physical ways that we express our commitment. Just like in a marriage itself. I mean, when two persons come together, I mean, you can come together as a couple without getting married. Okay? I mean, the term they use here is cohabiting. Cohabiting, okay? And we know that this is not right. Because this is partly also part of the influence of, over the years, the Western culture down here, where, people are afraid of commitment. They are afraid of commitment because it involves a lot of sacrifice, and especially nowadays here, you find that actually, if you divorce, it's a messy affair. It not just only affect, your children, but more importantly, hit the pockets a lot. So a lot of people want, the convenient way out is, perhaps it's easier if you don't get married. We love each other, we just stay together, we're happy, and that's the form of it. But we know in that kind of relationship, it doesn't hold because, one party wants to go, there's nothing to hold the person, you just can walk out of that relationship itself. There is no, perhaps serious consequences in a sense. It doesn't hit the person. And that is why in marriage itself is so important, because the whole concept of marriage is really deep commitment for one another. And if you remember the marriage vows, that till death do us part. And that's why in a Christian understanding of marriage, it's a very high requirement. It is not something that we enter into frivolously, it's something that we enter into without thought or thinking. It's very important that we understand what our commitment is. Alright? But however, having said that, okay, there are also this understanding that, we can be married, but our marriage can still be a shell. And in truth, if we reflect in our own relationship with the church, I'm sure by now all of you are members out here. Okay, anyone here is not a member? Now, which is the reason why it's so important for us to emphasize this point that every leader in our church must be a member. Because that's the basic way you express your deep commitment. If you cannot be committed to this church, how can you represent this church as a leader? Remember, when you are a leader, you are representing the whole church. And I can challenge any one of us who want to challenge against this particular concept. You go to any church, in Singapore or outside. Find me any church where they appoint their leader where they are not members. Show me a church where they appoint a leader that is not a member of the church. It doesn't make sense. Because that's the basic foundation, the most basic thing that you can do is that you commit yourself to the church by way of expressing it through membership. However, having said that, we know that it can happen in a marriage. You can be married in name, but there can be nothing else to it. The marriage is such a shell. There's no commitment, there's nothing else to tell. Now, it can happen also in our relationship with the Lord, our relationship with the church, where in name we are leaders, Okay? We are members of the church, but we're not committed to this church. We're not committed at all. And that leads me to the second point out here.